with
People
my
might be
usual
out
way.
suntanning.
Now it's good.
Oh, you had it there?
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, welcome everybody. Amber's away today. She's doing some other work. So just me and anyone else we may have from Edmonton Rainforest. If you're on the call, please feel free to throw your name in the chat, say hello, introduce yourself. If you're new to the rainforest, we'd also ask that you go into the chat and introduce yourself so we can all get to know you, introduce ourselves to you. So feel free to use this hashtag lunch without lunch. If you'd like to tweet or gram or whatever you do about today. Quick little plug here that we are running a contest currently for renaming this event, which I know will be challenging for many, getting a new name and coming, being able to come out of your mouth every week. I'm kind of practicing already, not saying lunch without lunch, which is fun. However, I'll get the link for the contest to you all afterwards in the chat. We do want the new name to encompass kind of the whole excitement and magic that we all experience at Lunch Without Lunch every week. So something around connections, collisions, that sort of thing. So I'll get you the link momentarily. Now we'll see if I shared my sound prior to. I have a feeling I didn't. Can you hear this? Awesome.
No, not hearing it.
Oh, Susanna gave me a nod. No?
I thought you meant yourself. I was writing down the words.
You're like, I can totally hear you. Okay, because of my technical issues, we're just going to zoom right through here. And I am going to do my own land acknowledgement in the spirit of reconciliation. We acknowledge that we work, play, and live upon the traditional territories of Treaty 7 and Métis Nation Region 3 here in Calgary. And for those of you joining us up in the Edmonton area, we certainly acknowledge the lands of Treaty 6 territory as well as the Métis. And if you're in another area today of the province or the country, you can please share that land acknowledgement in the chat as well. Because I didn't share audio, we're also going to zoom past our rainforest video, but I think that's okay. We've all seen it a lot. For those who are new to the rainforest is all about building a culture of trust, diversity, and collaboration. We do this through our social contract, and I'll get that link in the chat for you as well. If you haven't signed the social contract yet, please feel free to do that. It's a list of 10 values that we all agree to live by. I've been giving the history of rainforest to quite a few people lately because I feel it really adds context to our existence. And so I'll do that in place of the video again today. If you are unaware, there is a book written called Rainforest Building the Next Silicon Valley, and it's this very deep researched analogy of how rainforest ecosystems are like tech ecosystems. It talks all about being wild and woolly, accepting failure, increasing diversity, and really the magic of that network effect that we create through these weekly events and through the various other events that we hope we are the foundation of across the ecosystem as far as these values in our social contract go. And so some really important conversations have been coming to our attention for those of us who work with the rainforest around the social contract not being upheld and people just signing the social contract for the sake of accessing the community. And so in place of a video today, I'll ask everybody to maybe just check in with the social contract values and see, how you're upholding them on a day-to-day. We've also heard stories from some of our founders of the rainforest, the ones who brought this analogy to Alberta, around how in the very early days of the rainforest, the social contract was used as a tool. So when we're in a situation where we're not feeling those values are being upheld around fairness, trust, paying it forward, diversity, etc., we actually use the social contract to say, hey, we've both signed this and I don't feel like you're upholding your end of the bargain right now. And it's a way to really hold each other accountable to building a culture that's different, a culture that is not like traditional corporate culture, quite opposite. And the more we can all actually live these values, not just sign the paper, the more impact we'll have on increasing and accelerating innovation. And that's what the book talks all about. There's much proof around how this is truly the case. So I'll just leave that added context with you today and that reminder to really pull that contract up. And if someone hasn't signed it in a conversation, might be an opportunity to ask them to sign it. on that note, I'll just add again, some of you have heard this maybe more than once, that we are working with Inclusity to make the social contract a more inclusive document, make the language more accessible, more clear, more concise. And so we should be wrapping that project up by the end of this year, and we'll unveil a new, though rooted in the same values, social contract for the new year that hopefully is more accessible to all the newcomers coming into the ecosystem right now. Additionally, in the rainforest, and as part of this book and the analogy in the book, we talk about these 6 pillars and how all ecosystems are made up of these pillars, and they're not weighted equally. And the most important are around culture and leadership. So you may have heard us, Amber and I, and some new friends in the rainforest working and bringing to light these topics in various ways throughout Innovation Week a couple weeks ago, and through other activities in the ecosystem. We're really trying to look at how we rethink leadership in an effort to boost this score on our scorecard assessment. So we measure these pillars every year on an assessment. We'll be releasing it immediately in the new year, so you can fill out that survey for us and help us measure these pillars. But traditionally in the past, we've seen that leaders and role models have not been seen as representative of the people actually working in the ecosystem. So individuals are saying, I don't see myself in the leadership that is currently around, basically. Or I don't see myself in the role models that are put in front of me. And so we want to kind of open the conversation around how can we create more space for these role models and leaders to actually represent those of us who are working in the ecosystem. So just some more context there on rainforest, who we are, what we do, and a big push on the scorecard assessment coming in 2023. It will be held then, but to measure 2022. So taking us into what we're here for today, Lunch Without Lunch. This is all about connecting. Of course, we like to feature founders through the lens of the social contract and their stories to help inspire all of us on our own paths to innovation. But it's also about connecting with each other. So take advantage of the Zoom features, DM each other, make sure to put out some asks if you're looking for help with something, or if there's something in particular you're willing to give, throw that in the chat as well. We like to have our cameras on, even if you're eating your lunch. We like to see faces. It really does help to build trust in the virtual world. And ask questions. Don't be shy. But I do ask that you please kind of raise your hand when we're speaking to the founder today, so that we have an orderly kind of fashion of taking those questions in, and give space to others to share in the question asking as well. Additionally, if you've signed the social contract, you can keep connecting on our Slack workspace, but more excitingly, you can keep connecting on Inkly, which I'll talk about in just a sec. We do capture the chat every week and throw it in the Slack channel if you find that useful. I can say I've never found that useful, but I know some people do. So if you do, they live there. And the recordings will live on YouTube. All right. Here's our value for the day. It's all about honesty. I will be truthful and frank. I will break rules, and I will call out elephants in the room. Something I've been told I do too much. But isn't it fun that the social contract allows us to do this and have really, really frank conversations that can move us forward more quickly, but of course, in a respectful way. This is a good example of what will be changing on the social contract. For someone whose English is maybe a second language, elephants in a room may not make a whole lot of sense. Why would there be elephants in a room? So we'll be changing some of this language so that it is much more accessible to all. And lastly, before we get to Prasanthi today, we've been talking about it a lot, but there is a lot of chatter happening over on our new Inkly platform. So this is a pilot program we are running with the support of the Calgary Innovation Coalition, the CIC. They are supporting us in this project, helping us launch the Inkly platform across Calgary, though we invite folks from across Alberta, and we do have interest from some of the other innovation networks in Alberta, Edmonton and Red Deer and all over. So hopefully we can set a really great example down here in Calgary on how to use this tool. What is it? How does it affect you? Inkly is a platform where you can ask questions. So they say it's driven by curiosity fueled by generosity. I think that's one of the taglines, which is so well suited to rainforests and our values. So if you have a question about where to find a resource, you need connections of a certain type, you need to find people for discovery interviews, you want to run your idea past somebody, go on to Inkly and ask a question. It's that simple. The algorithms magic will then match you to someone who is uniquely positioned to answer your question. So it's not like Slack where you just throw a question into the abyss and hope one day someone who's actually it relates to will answer. This is very targeted question asking. And so on this platform, you can really act as a mentor in a way, but you can also just exercise your own curiosity. I ask questions nonstop all day. And I'll be bringing as many of those as I can onto Inkly. So, and then everybody can also learn from those questions. There is not currently an anonymity feature, but there will be. So it's coming. I don't know if we'll see it during our pilot phase, but they are also a startup in fairly early stage here. So have some forgiveness as well, especially with the sign up process, because we are trying to kind of gate who comes in so that we don't just have like anyone in the universe showing up on the platform. But because of that, it's added an extra step to the sign up. So once you download this, wherever this QR code takes you to some form, then we have to manually add you to the platform. So just be patient. You will get an invite. It will take a few extra steps. Additionally, you have to add the app on your phone separately. So you can use this in a browser window on your phone or computer as is, but you will also need to download the app if you want to use the app in that way. So apologies for that kind of complexity in signing up, but once you're on there, boy, is it a lot of fun. Alrighty, I'll stop talking now. There we go, stop sharing. Now I can see all your faces and I'll throw all the links I said I would share into the chat. So today, and the room's gotten a little fuller since I was sharing my screen. So welcome everybody, now that I see your faces. Today we have Simpie and Prasanthi from Joberfer. And you may have seen them around. They're brand spanking new, and they have been incredibly active around the ecosystem and sharing what they're up to. And I think, Prasanthi, what I maybe prefer to do is have you both introduce yourselves and kind of your background and what brought you to start Joberfer, and then whatever you'd like to share with us, and then we'll open it to Q&A. So I'll spotlight you both right now.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Bridget. And thank you so much for this incredible opportunity to share our founding stories. I'm Prasanthi Naidoo, and I'm the founder of Joberfer. I would love to introduce Simpie. Simpie and I have been working on Joberfer together since September. And it's brand spanking new, as you said, Bridget, and we are so excited to be here and share all the exciting things we've been doing. I'm going to let Simpie introduce herself, and she's going to share a little bit about her story on how she came to be with Joberfer and how we are working together. That's a pretty remarkable story, and I'd love for Simpie to go into that. But before we do that, I'm going to just give you a little bit of high-level context and a little bit more background information. But ahead of that, I just want to say again, reiterate, thank you for this incredible opportunity. We are so grateful to be here and to speak to the and share more so with the Rainforest Alberta community. Bridget, reflecting on our very first conversation, I remember how delighted we were when we found out that both our organizations, both Joberfer and Rainforest, are built on a solid foundation of core shared values, such as trust. And we are aligned on our collective missions to enable people to help people. At Joberfer, we believe in the power of human connection. We believe in people helping people attain their highest potential, and we are focusing on bringing this innovation to the jobs industry. And when I shared this with you, Bridget, I don't know if you remember, but it resonated so much with you. And you said that Rainforest Alberta is also built on the same ethos. And so that's why both Simpie and I were so excited to be a part of this community. And again, thank you for having us. Another core value that I noticed that Rainforest Alberta and Joberfer shares is to give back and pay it forward. And this is fundamental to us at Joberfer because this is how we built our business model. At Joberfer, we are partnering with people. We are not using, relying on technology like, other marketing platforms where you would go through and pay one of the tech companies to do all the marketing for you. We are instead sharing our revenue with people through paying them the referral fees in order for them to share their network with us. And the way we like to look at it is that we are not asking people to earn at the expense of another. Not at all. We're asking people to join us to inspire their friends, family, and network connections, to perhaps look at consider a job that they may not even have known of, and they could end up actually, landing their dream job. So these are the little takeaways I took from our initial conversation, Bridget, about Rainforest Alberta and about Joberfer and about our shared mission, our shared values, and what we are trying to bring to the community, and that sense of innovation we are really focusing on, and using technology to enable people to help people. So I'd love to share with you a little bit of that founding story, and you really go into why we created Joberfer. Joberfer is actually a technology advancement. It's basically an innovation we built on my first startup, which was Health Job Hub. During Health Job Hub time, we were leaning in and taking the time to really understand our customers' pains and to really understand what was delivering them value. Through that process, we actually realized our why, our mission to help people. And when we're looking at the news, I don't know, I'm sure everyone's looking at the news with the rising cost of living, increasing interest rates, volatile job market, and also my personal experience of relocating to Canada and finding it really difficult, to find work at the early stages. We were inspired to bring a technology platform such as Joberfer to the market because we believed that we can give people the opportunity to earn their way in another way. We were really inspired by the latest disruptive technology trends that help people earn their way, for example, Uber, skip the dishes. And we knew there is something in the jobs market that was left untapped, and we started exploring. With the help of Alberta Innovates, we received a grant last October where we were able to do some research and to determine what was the channel that gave our most challenged employers who we were working with the greatest benefits and greatest value. And we found through that research that referrals was the actual #1 source of qualified hires for our most challenged employers, which were medical clinics. We continued doing research, and we found that 88% of employers across industries also agreed that referrals was the #1 source of qualified applicants that they ended up hiring. So based on further research, we found out that only 7% of the pool of talent that recruiters sought after are based on referrals, but 30 to 40% of new hires are actually from that referral pool. So there's a huge gap, and there's a huge opportunity for us to be able to help bring that referral network to the market and make it accessible to all. So our mission right now is to democratize referrals to jobs, to make it accessible to anyone, anywhere with who has a friend, family, or network connection, to bring them to the table and to be able to inspire them to take action and perhaps land their dream job. What we are trying to do is we are activating a new channel of qualified applicants for our employers, and we are doing it via that referral network that we are creating at Joberfer. So it's still very, very early days. Everything we are doing is based on research, is based on stats, it's based on actual numbers. We are a very data-driven organization. We are making decisions based on how we see people interacting with our platform. The whole idea and concept of Joberfer, although it was from a personal experience, was all backed by research, market research, and actual stats pointing to this white space gap in the market, where this traditional job board industry was waiting and ripe for disruption. We are the first job board platform to have a digital wallet, which I'm so excited about. And I encourage all of you on this call to please sign up on Joberfer just to see our digital wallet. And you'll see it's 000 right now in your account. But once you start referring in one click a friend, family, network connection to a job on Joberfer, that balance starts ticking up. And it's not based on success. Most referral programs are all based on success, that you got to wait until somebody is hired in order to get paid. We believe in paying people for that lead, in able to enable them to see the real tangible value instantly almost. We have a contract with our employers that they contact the qualified applicants that apply to our platform within 7 days. So we have a very, very tight feedback loop, and we keep every party engaged. I don't know if anyone's following our LinkedIn page. If you're not, I encourage you to please do, but you will see the testimonials almost on a weekly basis we have been releasing. We've just been beta testing since the 13th of October. We just are working with a very small number of employers to test the platform because it's a brand new platform. We built the technology from scratch. And so we were doing this beta test. But the users who have been coming through and actually using our platform and applying have been giving us the most incredible feedback. And I've been sharing that on our LinkedIn. And I just encourage you to see what people are saying about that. And that really warms my heart as well as Simpie's, because it really means that we are delivering value. And that's what we are, a value-driven organization. We want to make sure that people are really seeing the benefit of using our platform versus other job platforms. At this point, I just want to pause and I want to invite Simpie. Simpie, I'd love for you to share with this community the story about what led you to join Joberfer and how it came about.
Thanks, Prasanthi, and thanks, Bridget, for inviting us to speak. Simply, Prasanthi and I, who knew each other from our kids being in school together, were out for a walk, and Prasanthi was telling me about an innovation, Joberfer, that she was working on. And I was so inspired by the concept of streamlining referrals to jobs and inspiring your network to connect someone in your network that's looking for a position to an employer, that I kind of mulled on it. I was already working in a full-time paid position, and so mulled on it for a couple of months, and continued to follow Prasanthi with her story and check in, see if she needed kind of some extra hands. And then one day I told her, Prasanthi, you know what, I really want to support you in moving this idea forward. So I quit my paid job to help her move this concept forward starting in September. From then, her and I have been working on the concept. We launched in October at University of Calgary's Social Innovation Hub, which was really exciting, and now working with Platform Calgary in their incubator. It's been an exciting 3 months working with early employer strategic partners. Again, as Prasanthi mentioned, where I really want to streamline, enhance the user experience. So we're really keeping it small right now in our kind of MVP stage. But we're looking forward to just gaining more traction, users, and really building this technology as we move forward at the new year. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your lunch to hear us speak about Joberfer. It's something that we're so passionate about. And yes, thank you. Thank you, Bridget, for providing us this platform.
Yeah, would you mind both sharing your backgrounds prior to this? I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Bridget. So both Simpie and I are CPAs by profession. In fact, I relocated from South Africa, where I trained to become a chartered accountant. I moved to Ireland and I was working at PricewaterhouseCoopers. At that time, I did my final qualifying exams with ACCA, which was the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. It's a global qualification. People around the world write these exams. And when I wrote my final qualifying exams, I was placed 3rd in Ireland and 14th in the world out of like a couple 100,000 people. And I was like so excited about it. The next day I had like 5 job opportunities, all Big 4 accounting firms, as well as Investec Ireland. Investec Ireland is a specialist investment bank, South African bank. And I just, my heart resonated with them being South African. I'm South African. And I took up that opportunity. I was also really curious to learn about investment banking. I worked there for 5 years. And my husband ended up getting a job opportunity to come here to Calgary to practice as a medical doctor, a physician. And so my work told me, listen, it's fine, you can go, but please remember your job is waiting for you if you decide that you want to come back to Ireland. So there was like no risk to me. I said, let's go, let's check it out. Coming here to Calgary, oh my God, this is such a beautiful place. Like the mountains captured my heart. I absolutely love it. The people are the nicest that I've met. The job market was the worst. It was the most frustrating experience I've ever had. Like I even put my daughter into daycare in Calgary, just assuming I was going to get a job. I applied to several jobs online and never even, received a response. Like it's just nothing. I came probably at the time when it was entering a recession and probably, not many employers were hiring, but I just assumed employers might see the value in some of my skills and experience, but nothing.
Okay.
But what I did get was a lot of my husband's medical clinics that he was working at, looking for physicians. And so organically, I set up Health Job Hub, what is known today. And that's another story for another time. But that's how I entered the jobs market. It was completely by accident. It was just out of an unmet need in the market. Medical clinics really desperately needed physicians. And because coming from South Africa, Ireland, we did all our own paperwork. I was able to guide other international medical graduates to, take up practice opportunities here in Calgary. And, I could happily say that I contributed in a small way to that healthcare system through Health Job Hub. And, that was the inspiration for also, founding Joberfer. Because when I ended up getting a job in Calgary, in Canada, I got a job with Deloitte. And the way I got it was my husband, he was getting these job alerts and he shared this job alert with me for this position at Deloitte. And I was not even looking because I was busy working on Health Job Hub. And I said, well, if my husband's sharing it with me, I'm going to apply. And I applied, and lo and behold, I got the job. But I would not have taken action if this job wasn't shared with me. I didn't even know it existed. And it was an incredible opportunity. But then subsequently, I ended up getting this grant from Alberta Innovates last October. So last April, I left my job, well-paying job, amazing job with Deloitte, what I was looking for all that time coming to Canada. But I really believe in what we are creating at Joberfer. And so I left that to focus full time because I was literally developing the platform from scratch with my developers, working with our early employer partners. And Simpie was my pillar of strength through this period because she and I are both moms. Our both kids used to go to the same schools, but we still live in the same community. And so we meet a lot, and we were like sharing each other's journeys. And I was like sharing my, I'm leaving my job to do this and telling her about the journey. And then she ended up doing the same. I was like, oh my goodness. And Simpie was like huge. It was the point of validation for me that somebody else will take a leap of faith in this idea, being a CPA and a paid salary, and we do get paid really well as CPAs, to leave that idea to come and join a startup where 90% of us are going to fail is pretty daunting. So that's where we both started off, and it's been an amazing journey so far.
Yeah, incredible story. And I think as 2 CPAs, you're set up with a great foundation that a lot of founders don't come in with. So what an advantage. Jeff earlier asked a question around if Joberfer is for consultants as well, or just employees.
So at Joberfer right now, we are in our early beta testing phase, and we are really trying to define what our target market is going to be going into January. And right now we are working with employers, and we are working with people who are wanting to be referrers, and referrers can be anyone at this point in time. We haven't defined them to be a consultant or a recruiter or anything like that. It could be anyone. And then the job seeker is anyone who might be looking for a job. So right now, the way Joberfer operates and works, it is a platform where we seamlessly connect referrers, job seekers, and employers on the one platform, and we streamline the entire experience. We take out all the administration from the employer. So when you say consultants, do you mind just elaborating on that? What do you mean by consultant?
You want to jump in, Jeff?
Temporary workers that are just working on assignments.
Yeah, I was just thinking like a contractor who comes in to do a specific job.
Oh, absolutely. So right now, our platform is driven by the employer job postings that's on the platform. But as I say, through this beta testing, we are getting a lot of data trying to guide us in how we target the platform going into the new year. And so, that is still work in progress, I have to say, honestly. However, what the consultants, how they could benefit contractors signing up on the platform and signing up to the job alerts. Because once we start getting that flow of jobs coming in, it's going to be all types of jobs, not just full-time employment. It would be contract work. It would be, part-time work. So, we would encourage you to stay up to date and to see that flow. We have deliberately not been targeting too many employees at this stage because we first wanted to create the best user experience possible for that referrer and job seeker on the platform, because that's the key, we believe, to moving this forward. We want that idea of people helping people to be really baked into the platform and making sure that we get like 100%, great response on that. And to be fair, I think Simpie and I, when we look at all the testimonials coming in from users, we have achieved that. Now we really need to focus on the employer piece and trying to figure out who best we could serve with the platform, and whether it could be this type of contract work you're talking about full-time, or a combination of all.
Mm-hmm. Susanna, do you want to unmute and ask your question?
First of all, wow, and yay, thank you. So wonderful. I did some volunteer work for another local startup called Buoyancy Works that helps job seekers through behavioral positive nudges. So I put it in the chat. It'd be an interesting connection maybe for you guys. One thing that came out of there too was the job descriptions. And so sometimes employers don't know exactly what they need. And so they'll just put stuff up, or they put like this is the perfect person that we want. But there's a difference in terms of what people go for. Like I think research shows that women will go for something that they're 60% matching to, and men are generally more like they'll go 80%, and men are lower. And so one of the things too is just in terms of that relationship between employers and job seekers, and how it could just be so much better, which is what you guys are working on. So I'm curious if you've thought about the job description kind of aspect to that.
That's such a great question, because from my personal experience, like the job with Deloitte that I ended up getting, I would have not necessarily have just gone in and applied for that. It was because my husband received this job alert and sent it to me. I felt that, okay, it's coming from a trusted source. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to apply without any expectation. And I ended up getting that job as a female. And you're right, with females, we almost undersell ourselves and our ability naturally. We just, may not feel that we can get the top job because of the way things are. But that's the reason why this referral piece is so important in our platform. It's because you might have a friend, family, or network connection, and you might be able to see their potential that they may not even realize that lies within them. And you share this job with them. And that's the reason why we say it's inspiring somebody to take action. And that's really what we want to drive home on that point, that our platform, the bias is almost removed because it's human connection that's doing the matching. It's not AI, algorithms, machine learning that's doing that matching, and that it's just like a cold referral that's been put in front of somebody. Here, it's coming from a warm referral, somebody who knows you and trusts you, and that's saying, hey, I actually have faith in you. And that's, I think, the number one most important piece of our platform, people helping people achieve their highest potential. That's our vision. That's what we wanted to create. And I believe by us doing that, we are removing all those biases that's inherent in technology. And what we are doing is we are actually powering human connection and enabling that human connection through technology. So I love that question. And I think that we are addressing it. As we get more data, we'd be able to, make better decisions as we go. But that is the vision right now.
Fantastic. Okay, I think that's great timing to be able to fit in some breakout rooms. And so we'll have the two of you split into two different rooms, and then there'll be a couple others as well. And we'll have some time, I think, to do probably 2 or 3 today. So I'll open the rooms up. And if you have any troubles, just let me know. Feel free to chat about everything we've learned about around Joberfer today, or if there's any specific things you can offer or give back to the community, touch on those as well. So I'll open the rooms up now, and we'll see you in about 5-ish minutes.
Okay.
Nobody was coming back early, even though some of the rooms ended up being quite a bit smaller. Are there any takeaways or any reflections anyone would like to bring back to the larger group before we head back into probably one last breakout?
Just the notion that, and it's typical in the marketplace, is that the big companies like the municipalities, healthcare services, some of the large employers won't jump in on this because they're all mashed up in their own bureaucracy, I guess is what it is. So the girls are having to focus on smaller, mid-sized companies that are not necessarily associated with the municipalities, the government, or health services, for example.
Thank you, Peter. Is that for us as a takeaway?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. No, thank you very much. And also from the breakout room, I met with Saul, and he was letting me know about his pool of candidates that he's trying to help international students. And if there's anyone else in this community that have these pools of candidates that we can help, please reach out, because that's exactly what we are trying to do right now. Identify those target groups who would most benefit from our services. And I was sharing with, for example, Saul, that we have a student who is an international student from University of Calgary, and they've been matched with us through a micro placement, and she's incredible. But ordinarily, these students don't have the opportunity to find work placements because being international students. So certainly we want to try and help as much of these groups as possible. So please reach out to us if there's any way we can help.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll open one more room and we'll come back just before 5-2 for community announcements, so you can get those ready for when we come back. Awesome. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you had some very fruitful conversations. Big thank you to Joberfer for being with us today, sharing their story, and we'll continue to watch it and support you as we kind of collide outside of the rainforest and through other events in the ecosystem. So thank you both so much. And on that note, we'll head into some community announcements. Just like some very kind of high level rainforest stuff. Next week at the mental health event, which Pete had put in the chat, December 14th, if you're not at that event in person, we will be broadcasting Lunch Without Lunch live from that event. It's going to be a demo of Inkly. So if you're still not really getting it and how it can add value to your life, you can check it out. Same Zoom link if you're not at the event, but try to join us at the event, because I think there's still tickets for sale, and we do have a rainforest discount code.
Yeah,
It's in our Slack.
I put it in the link as well.
Okay, cool.
Well, unless you've got a separate one, but there's a link in the that message that I posted.
Okay, you have a discount there. Yeah. So it's probably the same one. It's like $30 or something. So yeah, join us at that event if you can, and otherwise we'll see you online. But we'll be broadcasting from there, so bear with us. Al Del Degans and his son are helping us with the AV, and hopefully we can get it all sorted out. And then what week is it after that? That is the 14th, and then can you believe it is like the week before Christmas after that? The 21st, Lunch Without Lunch is canceled at noon, and you can join us at 3 p.m. for drinks. Location TBD, but we thought it'd be a fun little Christmas party, especially if you're a contractor or freelancer and or you're looking for work. Maybe you don't have a team to join their holiday party, or you do. Add another one to your docket. 3 will start, and the location is still TBD, but we'll get that out as soon as we know. And then Lunch Without Lunch will be canceled. Well, will not be canceled, but will not be held again until the 4th. The 4th is going to be just networking, because we do expect that to be a quieter week, as schools are still out in many divisions for that week. So back on January 4th for networking, and then on to some new exciting programming in 2023. We'll be moving around the city a bit. We'll be doing the in-person stuff more, and we hope that you join us, because it's a completely different experience and really valuable one at that. So that's the rainforest updates. Who's got their hand up here? I can't see you.
I've got my hand up next.
Thanks. Go ahead, Ross.
So upcoming on Tuesday night, we've got our Civic Tech YYC in-person social celebration. If you want to come out downtown and celebrate with us, we're going to have a little bit of presentation and then just head out to casual drinks and everything after that. All of the most recent meetups are now posted onto YouTube if you want to watch and review any of that to bring it for discussion. I've engaged with some of the previous speakers. I'm hoping some of them can make it for the discussion there. None of them have confirmed getting back to me, but some of them are tentative. So yeah, feel free to come on out and have a good time right before we start the holidays there. So it seems like a pattern of planning. So I've also got the Inclusity holiday party this Friday.
And you have a bird flying over your head.
I always have my birds. They love to say hello.
All this time, I don't think I've ever seen them flying. All righty. Pete, you have another announcement?
No, sorry, I should have lowered my hand.
Oh.
You did it, you did it for me. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Trevor?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, if anyone's looking to learn more about patents or has questions about patents and IP, that's kind of what I do. And I'll be having a free training on Monday at noon. So it's online over Zoom. So if you're interested in that, I just put a link in the chat, but it's kind of bumped up a bit. So I'll put that again. And yeah, feel free to join that. It'll be, probably an hour of training and then half an hour or so of questions. And yeah, and so if you're a startup, you're looking to learn more about, especially patents, I'm happy to touch on IP more broadly as well, but patents tend to be my expertise. So feel free to join that. Thank you.
Awesome. Great asset to the community. Thanks, Trevor. Anyone else?
Just quickly, Bridget, I was going to say that if there's anybody on the line that's promoting a business that might be related somewhat to mental health, for example, bicycles, for me, that you can actually still sponsor and get a table so you can be in an exhibit area for that mental health day if you're interested. And a great way to collect information and have conversations with a bunch of smart people. So thanks.
Awesome. Okay, I missed a lot in the chat here, but I'm assuming you were all following along. Great to see you all. Have a great rest of your day. It's the top of the hour, so we won't take any more time. Hopefully see you next week. And yeah, have a good one.